Hey guys, Nick with Peak. Been a long time coming, but wanted to finally get around to doing a walk around video of our 2021 Ford Bronco. This one's the first edition two-door. I'm happy to show you all the things we've done to it. You might remember a video a while back where I said we just do a mild build on this thing, and I still think it's mild, but some people might think it's wild. But we'll show you everything we've done, and you can let us know in the comments. We'll start off in the front of the truck. First things first, we have our Relentless Fabrication Bronco bumper. This is another three-piece design similar to the CR2 where it would the wings bolt onto the center section. One of the cool things is it provides a ton of clearance, so your approach angle increases drastically. You have all your sensors, so that way there's nothing that changes as far as the stock vehicle electrical components or any kind of the sensors like that. The other thing too you might notice, a lot of people keep asking us about how you relocate the camera or if the adaptive cruise control still works. In fact, the adaptive cruise control remains exactly in place as it was from the factory. There's no intrusion from the bumper whatsoever. It works perfectly as designed. On the bumper, we relocate the front camera and washer together to the front of the vehicle. So this moves it forward from the grille. For off-roading, it's a better placement. I think it puts it in a better location for any kind of like steep angle and climbs. You also notice we have the Warn VR Evo 10S. So this is another staple of ours. We've used a lot of these winches in our vehicle builds in combination with the Factory 55 equipment. This one's the Ultra Hook. I love these because of the quick use. You can easily access the hook portion of this or use the closed loop design, both of which are easy to use. Integrated recovery hooks on this bumper. These things are pretty stout. And then you'll also notice, again, like on the ZR2, XL80 Baja designs in amber. This is for forward dust. These things are really, really bright and they work really well in nighttime environments, dust environments, being seen by everyone else. So we're happy to use these again on this truck. The other thing on the front bumper you might notice is that the skid plate integrated to the bumper replaces the factory skids 1 and 2 all the way back to the transfer case. So this thing is a one solid unit. That way it just replaces 2 skid plates as one, keeps everything a lot stronger and more concise. It also just flows into the bumper better. So continuing on, because it's a Bronco, we want to have as large of a tire as we could. On this one, we went with a 37-inch Falken RT. This is their Wildpeak HD. I love this tire, as we mentioned in the previous video. It's been a great staple on this truck. We've used it in Moab, we've used it all over the place, and just endless grip and traction. One of the AAV Crestones. This time I didn't do any kind of color matching. I left them the way they were. This is their Onyx color with a protection ring. I did powder coat black. So the next thing I wanted to highlight is the advanced fiberglass fenders. ADV makes, in my opinion, some of the most beautiful fiberglass with some of the best fitment. This is their 5-inch glass. So in fact, the 5-inch is exactly the same width as the Sasquatch factory fender flares. I didn't want to go any wider, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any kind of tire poke, that everything was flush. I'm just not a huge fan of the tire poke thing. They do make a 2-inch where you can get quite a bit of poke, and they also make a 7-inch, which gives you the width for a Raptor. For our application, it works perfect. You also get a 1-inch rise, so you get a better tire clearance, better fitment. Running 37s, no problem, no rubbing, so we love the way it looks. It adds kind of that classic 1960s and 70s Bronco flair to it. Visually, you just can't beat it, and it's one of the most underrated mods on these trucks. The next piece for the advanced fiberglass is their heat extractor hood. This is a fully functioning extraction hood. All the vents just extract the hot air from the engine bay. It does keep the temps a little bit lower. Plus, it looks super aggressive. We custom painted ours to have the center section black, the rest of it cactus gray, and then reapplied the factory first edition stripes on this thing to kind of give it more of an OE look. Next thing too we have from Baja Designs is their Squadron Pro ditch lights. This comes with their ditch light brackets that are designed to fit on the factory accessories points. We also added a regular extension bracket with a ghost antenna from Midland. The next thing we have is the XL Linkable light bar from Baja Designs. We tried to follow as close as we could with having all the lighting zones covered, with having our forward-facing or long-distance range lights, our ditch brackets, our dust control front and rear, trying to cover the whole gamut. So what I'm really excited to show you guys are the new 2.5-inch coilovers for the Bronco. We've hinted on our social medias, you've probably seen that we've been releasing our new 2.5-inch coilovers. This is our prototype set for the Bronco. We should have production going in about a week or two. This one has compression and rebound adjustment, so you can really dial in the ride quality on this thing. Height adjustable up to 3.5 inches. Really love the ride quality in this one. I think you guys are gonna be thrilled with what we come out with, and especially the price point. They look badass and they're ready to hit the trails. Also, to help with the additional articulation, we use the Baja Kit's Billet upper control arms. These ones are height adjustable and they have a capped uniball for additional articulation and keeping it sealed from dust and any kind of elements. So this is actually a great kit to go as well. So moving on to the back, the ADV fiberglass covers the back end as well. Again, this is 5 inches. You can see how it kind of fits the wheel well perfectly. Again, that gives us a 1-inch rise in the rear so we can fit a bigger tire, more clearance, especially for the back, because there's so much articulation on these Broncos that if you didn't have that on a 37, you'd definitely be rubbing as soon as you start flexing. So we have our new coilovers for the back. So we tried to make a lot of different reservoir mounting positions to determine which one we thought was the best. Right now, I'm liking the location that it is now. It's easy access to get to the adjuster knobs, and you still get that look and the visual. You can see the branding, you can see the shock itself. It's also mated to a Baja Kit's Billet lower trailing arm, so we get a lot more articulation and flex, smoother travel, a higher quality piece. So moving on to the back, some of my favorite components of the Billet are back here. We'll start with the suspension side. You'll notice the Icon Vehicle Dynamics adjustable track bar. This definitely helps keep axle position in the right way, especially when you're flexing over. We also have JCR lower shock skids. These are a well-made item that really fit perfectly and give you a little bit extra protection when you're going over some of the rocks. Last, you'll notice we have the AEV diff cover on this. It does share the same axle as the Jeep, so it's a direct fitment over, carryover from the Jeep. There's one small component change for the Broncos. Last but not least, what you don't see is an exhaust system. That's because we have the Magnaflow Overland series exhaust, and they've designed it so that it's such a high-tuck muffler, you can't even see it. You can see a little protruding tip right here, but that's one of the reasons we like this thing so much, is because it adds so much clearance. There's no more low-hanging muffler like the factory muffler is. It's a great piece. You can also adjust the sound quality, which is awesome, using the adjustable resonators. You might have seen our video with Magnaflow in the past with the Bronco when we first got it done. Still loving it to this day. So this is my favorite part of the build, is the rear bumper. We had this done by Relentless Fabrication again. This thing is pretty stout and, in my opinion, probably the best looking bumper on the market, as well as most functional. If you look at some of the features on this thing, you look at the departure angle you have, a huge cut to allow for a lot better obstacles coming off ledges. One of the problems with the factory Broncos is that the bumper would be so low, it catches on all kinds of stuff. And on the other side, where the license plate was, it's pretty common to pop the license plate out of the bracket and or lose it, which happened to us in Moab. This one doesn't have that issue. The lowest part of this bumper is actually the frame, so it bolts directly into the frame here. Huge clearance, and also just a great looking piece. So one of the cool things about this bumper is all the integrations they added to this. So you have your integrated tow hitch, which one cool feature on this, to remove it from down here, we actually flip the hitch, mounted upside down and above the frame, so that way you can have a higher clearance hitch. You also have your integrated tow package, as well as your integrated sensors. No issues as far as we've driven this thing with this bumper on it for probably close to a year now, and it works perfectly. So the other awesome part is the spare tire reinforcement plate that they add. This thing spreads the load across the entire door, adds a lot more strength, a lot more dependability and looks. The other cool option is that it adds 5 inches of height on the rear tire. So it moves everything up to give you a little bit more departure clearance. When you're coming up those ledges, don't drag the back tire like you would on the factory door. So one of the cool features they added to this bumper to keep things clean and simple is a little trap door for accessing the rear hitch. So you just pop this door off. You can add your hitch pins, your locks, whatever you want to have when you insert the trailer, and it's all hidden underneath this. Another cool feature of this rear bumper is it relocates the license plate. So rather than being down here and catching all the rocks and ledges and boulders, it moves it out of the way onto the door. The last cool piece is that on this spare tire carrier, it's designed to house a ARB 12-volt dual compressor inside here and run the fitting to this bracket here, so you can just simply plug in, air up, and it's all integrated into this piece. So that wraps up this build. Thanks for watching the video. Let us know in the comments what you think. Mild or wild, your choice.